Fantastic. All right. So Connor and Matt have some club updates that they're going to start off with, and then we will start to get to questions thereafter. So Connor, do you want to start us off with some club updates?
Yeah, thanks, Evan. I think we want to start by talking about the news that came out earlier today that Connor Tobin will not be returning for a fourth season with Forward Madison. And I just want to kind of start this by talking about Connor and the impact that he's had on this club. He's been a model teammate and member both on the field and off the field, and we appreciate what he's done for the club over the last 3 years. He's been with us since the start. And these days and these decisions are never easy. And Connor is really the gold standard for lower division soccer as far as a role that a player plays in the community. And we think that wherever he is next, he'll be great on the field and off the field for that club. And that club is going to be lucky to have him. And so we appreciate what he's done for Forward Madison, the Madison community, and everything about the club over the last 3 years. We wish him nothing but the best. But we made the decision to move forward as we put our roster together for 2022, and we feel good about the roster that we have in place. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about kind of 2022 and some off the field type stuff, and then I'll let Matt get into a technical update, and then we'll get into your questions. I think this is now we're not fully out of the pandemic. We don't see any kind of attendance restrictions or any of the challenges we've had the last 2 years. This is the closest to 2019 we've been from a spectator and business standpoint. We're excited about a full return to Breeze Stevens Field. We've got 15 league matches, and we plan to have 3 exhibition matches on top of that. And we're making significant investments into the facility. I think when we started this club in 2019, we weren't sure that we would get as far as we are now. We weren't sure that this thing was going to work. It was going to last. And now every decision we make is more of a 20-year decision than it is a 3 to 5 year decision. And so you're going to see us invest heavily into the facility over the coming years, especially this year. And we're excited about some additions that we'll be announcing over the next 30 days. Those investments in the facility are one thing, but we're investing significantly on our technical side of the business. Our player budget will be up 20% over a year ago, and overall, we're dedicating an additional 10% to our overall technical budget to have additional staff, additional amenities for our players. And we do think the piece that's been missing over the last 3 years is consistent winning. And so we're investing heavily in that part of the business to hopefully get things straightened out and get winning. And we think a big part of that winning and a big part of our future is Matt Glazer and the staff that he's putting together. And so I want to turn over to Matt for some opening comments, and then we'll get into your questions. But thanks again, everybody, for being here.
Thanks, Connor. Yeah, guys, look, I feel very optimistic and excited about where we're headed in 2022. I think first and foremost, we have an incredible technical staff, with Neil Halabody returning and his experience in the league. John Pascarella coming in as a former, head coach and an assistant coach in Major League Soccer, and bringing his experiences here. Keith Tiemeyer joining us on the operations side, and then recently we've appointed a equipment manager, Darian. So we've got a really good staff. I think the right people are here to help the club move forward in the best possible way. So I'm very excited to be working with the staff. In terms of the player side, we feel like we've made some really exciting signings for USL League One. We've brought in Mitch Osmond, who was, a longtime USL Championship defender, Australian native, dual citizen here in the States. Mitch is an incredible player, a great leader. He brings the work ethic, he brings the mentality that we want in the team. Andrew Wheeler Aminu is another player I've worked with in the past. He has a Major League Soccer championship under his belt with Atlanta United. He's the right type of character. He's a good guy in the locker room. He's a fantastic footballer as a midfield player. We're really excited to have him. And then again, I guess our other our other bigger signing so far has been Matthias Cassini, a Brazilian player, who's plied his trade in different countries in Europe and in South America. He's an exciting young talent. We feel like he'll come in and add some dynamic ability to our group. And then obviously, a good returning core of players that we felt like can add to and contribute to our culture, among some others. But we're really excited about the direction that we're headed. And I feel like we've got the pieces falling into place to have a really successful season here in 2022.
Fantastic. Thanks, Matt and Connor, for some club updates. We're now going to be moving into some questions that folks submitted to us prior to the town hall beginning. We thank you if you did so. During this session, we do encourage you to utilize the reactions tab on the bottom right-hand corner of your Zoom. Within that tab, there is a raise hand function. That's going to be how we utilize live questions during tonight's town hall. So if you have a question to ask live, we ask you to raise your hand. We'll have our staff kind of compiling those raised of hands, and then we'll get to those live questions shortly coming up here. So some of the questions that we have that kind of came in prior to this, we'll lead off with Scott McDonald. He kind of asked, are you scheduling more foreign matches? And then Jack T kind of echoed that and said, are there other international friendlies happening this summer? Any teams with bigger stature like Hertha Berlin coming to Madison? And I'll pass this one over to Connor.
Yeah, Jack and Scott, thanks for your questions. 15 league matches, and then we plan to have 3 exhibition matches. We've announced our Paderborn match on June 15th. We're excited about that, to bring a second division Bundesliga club here. And yes, we will be bringing at least one more international team. We're working on that right now. The international market has been, I don't want to say challenging, but it's a lot different than it was in 2019 when we brought Hertha Berlin in. I think we were one of the few clubs to pull off an international exhibition a year ago, and we're going to have at least 2 this year. But the market is still a little soft because of COVID. Not as many teams traveling. And so we feel good about the one we've got on the books, and we will have at least one more, potentially, an English club, and we're working through that, and that'll likely be in July.
Great. Thanks, Connor. Second question is coming from Dan Fallon. Dan Fallon asked, can you clarify the role and responsibilities of Keith Tiermeyer and the reporting structure?
Yeah, I'll take that. Dan, hope you're doing well. We're excited to have Keith with us. Keith has been the associate head coach at the University of Wisconsin for the men's team for the last 12 years. He joined us on February 1st. And Keith has a dual role, bridging both the business and the technical side. On the technical side, he reports to Matt Glazer. Matt oversees all technical operations day to day. But then Keith also has a business aspect to his role, where he is a liaison with the local soccer community and will be leading our camp and clinic business. So, candidly, that's an area that we've underperformed in over the first 3 years. Both our relationships with youth soccer clubs, but also on the camp and clinic side of the business. And Keith's going to be a great asset there to, one, on the technical side, run our day-to-day operations, but also 2, on the business side, help us with camps, clinics, and our relationships with youth soccer clubs.
Absolutely. This one is going to be from Matt. Matt, Bruce Peckins asked, Coach, what are you looking forward to about coaching in Madison?
Yeah, I'm very excited to get in front of the fans. Everyone in the league that I've spoken to, coaches that I know who I'll be coaching against, and just essentially everyone that I've spoken to has just raved about the fan base here, raved about the game day environment, raved about what it's like to play in this environment. So as sort of the home side and in the home head coach here, I'm very excited to get in front of the fans, to put our product on the field and in front of such a vibrant fan base. That's definitely the thing that I'm most excited about. But just in general, just getting the guys ready to perform and hopefully have some success this season.
Absolutely. We'll double back with you, Matt. Mitchell Meerman, Mitch, I see you in the meeting. Thanks for being here. Matthias Cassini is the first player we've added since Josiel Nunez in 2019 who wasn't American or previously played soccer in the U.S. What led to the team discovering and signing Cassini?
All right, good question, Mitchell. I'll trust your research on that. Matthias came to me via a relationship that I have with an agent based out of the agent is American, but works in South America and Europe. He came across our desk in the form of a video application tool that we use to scout players. And we dug into him a little bit. We called some coaches, some people that had worked with him. We spoke to, we obviously dug in on the video detail. I spoke to him personally on the phone in a call, and we felt like Matthias's profile matches and aligns with our game model, with our style of play, with the attributes that we're looking for, the player profiles that we have for the position that he plays as a sort of attacking midfield stroke winger. So we felt like, as with any foreign player, there's always a little bit of a risk involved, certainly. Him not having tested himself in the American market, but that was something that was very exciting to Matthias. He wanted to come and test himself in the American market. He wanted to see, how his skills and his ability would translate to our level. So part of that was his desire to come to the States and show what he can do. And then certainly from our perspective, we feel like he's going to be an important player for us. We feel like he's got a tremendous skill set that's going to impact us very positively on the field.
Thanks, Matt. And Matt, we have another one coming for you from Ryan, who asked, how will the team respond to adversity throughout the season?
Oh, Ryan, I'm interested to see how that goes myself. I think part of it, Ryan, is we're going to try and build a culture from day one. And even having done so already in some Zoom meetings with the guys, asking them to come up with a culture themselves. Part of that's, I'm obviously the overseer, the overarching manager of that, but I want the players to create their own culture. And what I asked them to start thinking about was, how can we be a team first group, put the team in front of our individual self. I asked them to think about how we can be a hardworking group, and I asked them to think about how we can be a resilient group. And that, what I mean by that is a team that doesn't make excuses when things don't go our way. So part of that resilience is definitely going to be how we deal with adversity. There's going to be adversity. There's going to be bumps in the road. I certainly have my thoughts for how I would like to handle that, but I think a lot of that comes from our leadership group within the team, and collectively working together with that leadership group to ensure that when things don't go our way one weekend, are we gonna capitulate? Are we gonna throw in the towel? Or are we gonna get back to business and win the next game? So that's something that is very important to me, and it's been an important part of the recruitment process and the players that I've tried to bring in so far.
Awesome. We're going to take a pause on the questions that came into us prior to the meeting. Just to encourage you all, if you do have a question live for us, please utilize the raise hand feature. It's located under the reactions tab on Zoom. We'll be taking live questions just in a second here. And now we're going to go back to some of the questions that kind of came into us. The next one is from Kevin. And Connor, you'll take this one. When will the theme nights be released for the upcoming season?
Yeah, Kevin, thanks for your question. I think between March 1 and March 15th, we'll make our formal announcement for the entire season. We've made good progress on our theme nights. I think we've got a pretty good schedule put together. We are going to continue to invest in entertainment and different reasons for people to get out to the stadium, and we'll have that put together in the next 30 days.
Fantastic. Matt, this one's for you. This one comes in from Will Rikers. He asks, when do players report and what does the preseason look like?
Well, the players are going to be reporting on February 11th to do their medicals, and preseason will be a 7-week preseason. Connor, I don't know if you wanted to jump in and talk a little bit about that, but it's a 7-week preseason leading into our first game, April 2nd.
Yeah, so just kind of from a functionality standpoint, obviously, 19, we had about a 5.5-week long preseason. 20, we had a preseason that never, I think the preseason ended up being 5 months long because we got here and then didn't play a game until July. And then last year, there was some, the season didn't start till May 10th. So, we are, as we talk about investing in the technical side of things, we're bringing players in sooner. They'll get in. Some are in town already, but some will get in this weekend, and the whole team, majority of the team, will be in by the 11th. First action or activity will be on the 12th. We'll be in town indoors for the first week. And then, we'll have two kind of longer trips, extended trips during the preseason to drivable locations to train indoors to kind of get away. And, we had considered a trip to, Florida or Arizona for a preseason trip, but given, or at least at the time we're making the decision, the concern about the current COVID variant, we didn't want to be a plane flight away if something was to happen. We thought it was logistically better to be a driving distance away. So our players will be going away 2 separate times to indoor locations, drivable distance from here from a logistics standpoint. So a little longer preseason, more time for the guys to get together, to get in shape and to get to bond together. Matt, other comments you want to make about our plans? Last thing I'll say too, we have announced our match on February 26th at Marquette. And then we've announced, I believe we announced today, that we'll be playing NIU on March 4th in Rockford. And both of those are open to the public, not ticketed events, but open to the public. We expect to have at least 3 other matches that we'll be announcing in our preseason schedule before too long.
I think you pretty much covered it there, Connor.
Great.
Thanks, Matt.
The next question comes into us from Matt. He says, have any players that Madison has tried to recruit said no because of the artificial turf?
No, nobody said no because of the artificial turf. That's not been something that we've encountered yet, but it is something that, quite frankly, that I do say to our players, especially those players that are not familiar with the league or the level or Brees Stevens Field or I do try to be very candid about what our training and playing surface is with everyone.
Great. The next one also comes in from Matt. He asked, does the Green Bay team not in action anymore hurt Forward Madison to stay economically strong or have a better product on the field?
Yeah, Matt, I'll take that one. Matt, thanks for the question. I don't think it, I don't think it impacts what happens at Forward day to day much either way. I mean, it's something that we did try for a few years. I don't think we got quite the efficiency that we would have hoped, or used it as much of as a player development tool as we would have hoped. And candidly, that economic model is challenging. When you play just 7 games a year, we had 2 of our games get canceled or altered on 24 hours notice. And it's challenging at that level to make it viable. And so, for the short term, we've made the decision to put all of our efforts into our professional soccer operations. And that just means more time, effort, energy, and some more dollars into Forward Madison. But I don't think it's going to be a drastic change from what you've seen in the last few years.
All right, great. And our last pre-submitted question actually comes in from Matt. Matt had 3 questions. And so he asked, are you kind of glad the MLS teams are gone from the league because of no crowds at the games and the late afternoon weekday games?
I'll answer first and let Matt Glazer go. But and thanks, Matt, for all the questions. Matt Glazer, this isn't you asking your own questions, is it? Some softballs you're throwing? No. But I think it's going to be good that there'll be fans, should be fans at all 11 places we play this year for league matches. With that being said, there's some, we can't deny that there's been some really good talent that we played against at the MLS2 level over the last 3 years. Ricardo Pepi, who we saw last night, being one great example. So while it is nice that all the teams will be playing are looking to sell tickets and have a lively atmosphere, you can't disregard the fact that there's been some great talent on some of those MLS2 teams. We won't be facing that talent anymore.
All right. Thanks, Connor, for that answer. So yeah, that kind of concludes the pre-submitted questions. We thank everyone who kind of filled out that form, and we appreciate it. We're going to move on to the live questions now. So like I said, if you please could use the raise hand feature followed, it's under the reactions tab on Zoom. If you do have a question, our staff will kind of order them in order of the hands being raised, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. So our first hand that I think I saw raised was Kelly. So Kelly, I'm going to ask you to unmute here, and you can ask away.
Oh, great. We get to start with the dumb question. So a little self-servingly, just wondering if any thought has been given, or maybe to plant a bug for you, to fantasy camp happening for the fans this summer.
Kelly, we weren't planning on tonight be much about breaking news, but I guess we can break some news that yes, Mingo Fantasy Camp 2022 will happen. Date to be determined. But yes, that was a great event. And we spoke about Connor Tobin earlier. He gets a great deal of credit for leading that event a year ago, and we do plan to bring that event back in 2022.
Great. I'm going to start running.
Yeah, it won't be any sooner than June 15th. So we'll give you a little time, but we'll get you an exact date soon.
Perfect. Thanks, Kelly. All right. We're going to move on to M. Williams, I think, is the next person that asked to ask a question. So asking you to unmute M. Williams, and then you can ask away.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. This question is for the coach. Coach, what are your core values?
Ooh, good one. Yeah. So my core values are, and thanks for asking that. My core values are creating a team, like a team first identity. Essentially, I want to have a group of players that are collectively together for what we want to accomplish as a group. Putting the club and their teammates before themselves. That's something that's very important to me. I spoke about a hardworking group. I believe in a blue collar style of play, a blue collar type of players that are willing to do the work off the ball as well as on the ball. So do the running that's required for the game model. And then, yeah, the resilient side of it is big for me. And what I equate that to, as I kind of mentioned before, is not making excuses, not allowing things that are outside of our control to affect our daily routine, our daily mentality. We want to be able to bounce back in tough times. We want to be able to withstand pressure, deal with pressure, deal with stress, as a group. These are things that are very important to me and how I coach. The last thing that I would say is, just in terms of me personally, is empathy, and that means to me being a good listener. That means, speaking to the players and having an understanding of what they want to do with their career, having individual goals and development plans for those guys, so that they understand that, we care about, my staff and I care about who they are individually and as people and as players, and how we want to translate that into a collective way of moving forward. So those are probably like my four core values. Thank you.
All right, great. Next question comes from Mitchell Meerman. So Mitch, I'm going to ask you to unmute here.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Right. I got 3 questions for you. So we'll try to get through them quick. First question, quick call out on Connor. You said earlier that both the Marquette and NIU games would be open to the public. However, the tweet earlier today about the NIU game said it would be closed door. I just want to get clarification on which it is.
Evan, do you want to, and I apologize if I was incorrect there. Evan, are we going to be?
Yeah, so the NIU game is closed. Oh, I'm good. Okay. The NIU game is closed doors. It will be held in Rockford, Illinois, at a neutral site between us and NIU. And at this point, it is a closed door friendly. Obviously, we'll update you all if that changes.
All right.
Sorry about that, Mitch.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure for
It's
everyone's sake.
different than what we've done in the past there, but if that changes, we'll let you know.
Sure. Second question, more on the actual soccer side of the ball. The 6 players that have been announced that are returning, should we be expecting that is it as for the returners, or will there be more players?
Yeah, I would say that we're still in talks, with one other player. I believe maybe 2, but I believe 1. I think one player is going to be joining us for preseason, who's been here in the past. but those 6 returning are what we have right now locked up for 2022.
Okay, and last question. Behind you, Matt, you got those pictures of the jersey with it says sponsor across them. Or is there plans for there to be a new sponsor other than Dairyland for the upcoming season?
Connor?
Yeah, we'll have an announcement. I'll say 3 things. One, those are actually relics from 2018, I think December 2018, if not early 2019. So I would not read too much into those. I would say Dairyland has been an amazing partner for our first 3 years, and we'll have an announcement on the future of our kit sponsor, I think on February 26th. And now, Mitch, I know you're big on the details, so don't quote me on exactly that date, but around February 26th, we'll be making a significant announcement on the future of our kit partner.
All right, I'll be sure to tweet at you on February 26th if I don't hear anything, Connor.
Please do. Directly to me, Mitch. Good
Yes.
luck finding that, but yeah.
Or I'll email you. I got
Yeah.
that.
You text, yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mitch, for the questions. Appreciate it. Great. So again, if you're in on the meeting and have a question, please just use the raise hand feature. We will get to you. We did have a question that actually came through on our Google form sheet for the virtual town hall. And the question reads, could you please explain why Turbo wasn't retained from a front office setting? They said, I understand that a club is changing, but Turbo leaving is a huge blow to community engagement and connection.
I think it's a fair question and a great question. Turbo did a great job in the community. We're going to continue to pick that up with a variety of our staff members. I don't think it's fair to talk, too much about what his future plans may or may not be. But I think our takeaway was that he does plan to play in the future. And I think we wish him best of luck with his future playing. And at some time, if he decides to be done from a playing standpoint, we would welcome a conversation with Connor about, a dedicated role with our organization or beyond. But I think the 2022 conversation we had was focused around playing, and I'll be the first to recognize and thank him for the great work he did in the community. And we're going to have a fair amount of work to pick that up moving forward. And we're hard at work at that.
Great. Thanks, Connor. All right. So we don't see any hands currently raised, which doesn't mean that you all don't have questions. So again, feel free to use the raise hand feature located right under the reactions tab to ask away. We will get to them right now ASAP. So for the time being, Connor, Matt, any things that we haven't covered that you'd like to cover just in terms of club updates, things to look forward to for the upcoming season?
I think we'll just a couple other announcements. We'll have an announcement on February 12th when we start training about a partner on our training gear that we'll be rolling out. I did mention that announcement on February 26th. And then, as I mentioned, we do currently plan to play 5 preseason matches. So a 7-week preseason, 5 matches as we get ready for our opener on April 2nd. And then home opener is April 9th. Another home match on April 30th. And we do plan to add one more in April as well from a friendly perspective.
All right, great. And it looks like Cody has a question. So Cody, I'm going to ask you to unmute right now and you can ask away.
Perfect. Thanks, Evan. My question's for Matt. Obviously we don't have a full roster at this point, and usually a lot of coaches like to bring players in during the preseason phase and kind of get a look at different players. So just curious kind of how your philosophy is, or what your philosophy is for, looking at players. And then also, we had a lot of signings during the 2021 season, signing players throughout the season, what that looks like for you.
Yeah, great question, Cody. I kind of preface this. I think I spoke to said something similar on a call the other night. I think, for us in the reality of our situation, is that, you know, the market is a late one. The market is a late one in terms of player acquisitions. There's, with the MLS Next programs coming into the fold, there are now, you know, 250 to 300 more professional soccer jobs out there. And so, you know, from our perspective, our strategy has been essentially, we want to arrive to the dance, you know, with the right dates, you know, with the right date. You know, we don't want to be early, or even on time with the wrong dance partner. So we're being patient. We're being very patient and methodical in our player signing process. We have I think 14 guys agreed to as of today. We have offers out to several others, say 3 to 4 others. Ideally, I'd love to be up around 17, 18 signed players, by the time preseason arrives. Will that happen? Most likely not, but you never know. Like I said, these things happen. It's hard to know because these things, materialize so quickly. There's some guys we have contract offers out to who are currently in preseasons with championship or MLS teams. There's a lot of moving parts. Certainly, Cody, we will have trialists in to look at, to identify players. That's certainly going to be part of our preseason process and something we've sort of accounted for. I would estimate, getting to our full roster load probably somewhere early March, I would say. Probably ideally earlier the better. But again, I'd rather play the waiting game and get the guys in that we definitely want to get in, rather than sort of making up numbers on the front end. Hope that helps.
Thanks, Matt. All right. It looks like Mitchell has another question. Mitchell, I'm going to ask you to unmute right now, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep coming up with questions as long as you let me. So this one, this is about the Open Cup. So we're starting to get some stuff from the USSF finally on matchups and such. Hopefully get our second round opponent next week. What is your kind of Coach Glazer? What is your viewpoint on balancing the Open Cup versus the regular season? Is there going to be more of an emphasis on the Open Cup game? I know that in 2019 we had a nice run where we got to the third round, took down El Paso on the way, which was pretty big for the fan base. And I was curious as to how you kind of viewed the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Great question, Mitch. Look, the Open Cup's an incredible competition. I played in it. I'm aware of it. I think it's a fantastic competition. I think it's a great way for our players to showcase themselves, for our club to showcase itself, to the rest of the leagues and show what we can do and show how we stack up. I'll speak candidly. My first order of business, my main priority is the league. The league. I do put the league first. The league is my main priority. It's going to be our team's main priority. However, that being said, we want to win some Open Cup games, so, as much as possible, if it comes down to a decision where, I got to pick between a league game and an Open Cup game, I'm probably going to roll towards the league game because the league for me is the priority. But I would say that I take the Open Cup competition very seriously. We're going to prepare for those games, just like we would any game. They're cup finals. It's a great opportunity for guys to test themselves in a sort of a playoff environment. So I value the competition. We're gonna do the best we can in the Open Cup for sure. But just with the understanding that I do place the priority on our league play.
Thanks, Mitchell.
All right. I will say, if I can just add to that too, Matt mentioned our roster status and our goal being to have 18 players as we head to camp next week, and then make sure we're at a full 22 by early March. Having 22 players is going to be important that first week of April. When we open the season on April 2nd at Chattanooga, likely have an Open Cup match in the middle of the week there, and then come back home to open our season on the 9th, our home season on the 9th. So there will be a priority on getting that roster full quickly, so we're ready. It's fairly challenging to start your season with 3 competitive matches in the first week.
Great. We also just had another submission to the form in the form of a question. With the World Cup coming up in the winter, does FMFC have any plans to take advantage of that?
I'm sorry, Evan, can you repeat that? I didn't hear the full thing.
Yeah, absolutely. With the World Cup coming up in the winter, does FMFC have any plans to take advantage of that?
Yeah, I mean, from a spectator standpoint, we absolutely do. We're developing those plans right now. As we look at that in the winter, it appears American soccer fans don't mind watching soccer matches in 1-degree weather, as witnessed by last night. So maybe we'll do some outdoor programming at Breeze, but I think we are hopeful that by this fall we'll have an indoor venue to host events like that. And that's something that we're not fully prepared to talk about yet, but we are, as I talk about stadium renovations, we are working towards some improvements that would allow us to do some indoor programming year round from a soccer perspective.
Great. All right. I don't see any hands at the moment. We'll give another minute or so for people to use the raise the hand feature, again, located under the reactions tab, to ask any questions they have remaining on this town hall. Any final thoughts as we prepare for the preseason, Matt, with the players kind of arriving next week? How do you kind of envision kind of welcoming them to the Madison community as a whole? Because it's, I know, a new community for a lot of folks.
Yeah, we're going to try and get the guys integrated, get them comfortable in their living arrangements, get the core, at least the core group that will be arriving, getting them acclimated. I think for some of them, in some of the Zoom calls that we have there, we've got guys coming from all over the world. Abdu's coming in from Senegal. Matthias is coming from Brazil. Roger Smith is coming from Jamaica. I think part of that in the integration process, the reality is the climate change for them, getting them adjusted to the climate, getting them, hopefully comfortable in their living space. But yeah, I've already kind of put the word out, and we've had a couple of laughs about that in some team meetings early to get the guys prepared for the weather change. But yeah, aside from that, I think we'll have a majority of our core group here. There will be new faces added over the coming weeks, but yeah, getting the group integrated the first week, getting to know each other, getting to understand how the staff and I communicate, what language we use in terms of how we identify and how we coach our principles of play to the team, using a common language to do that. And one of the things that we're going to do, for instance, is in an early team meeting is kind of go through, what our keywords are, what our words, so the guys understand if we say, high press, what does that mean? If guys, if we're talking about playing, forcing the opposition to play around us rather than through us, that terminology, and getting it sort of concrete and hammered in early, so that way we have the building blocks to continue to add information. But that's certainly going to be a key part of our early doors work.
Great. Thanks, Matt. And it looks like we have a question from Adam in the chat. And so, Adam, I'm going to ask you to unmute right now, and then you can ask away.
So, hey, I just got to say that I would have asked about the fantasy camp too. So I'm glad that question got asked. I know I've got like 3 or 4 friends that I told about it because I participated, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll come with you. So I'm excited that the fantasy camp is coming. Sort of another like fun, but not really super relevant question is, can we get a blue knit stocking cap that matches the 2021 home kit scarf? You've got the nice winter blue scarf, but there's really no hat that matches that scarf. So can we get a blue in that color that would match that scarf just to comply? I've got a good pink scarf and pink hat for the winter, but I'd love a blue stocking cap if we could make that happen.
I think we can make that happen. We're not, Matt and I aren't the merch guys, but we know who they are. And Adam, we appreciate your color coordination and your fashion and your desire to match. So I think we can make that happen. If you wouldn't mind sending us a note or a photo just so we get exactly the right scarf to match. You would likely not see that knit hat until Q3, Q4 of this year, winter time. But yes, we can accomplish that.
That's awesome. No, I love it. So this, I guess maybe in the future too, if you guys do a scarf, there always should be a matching knit hat that goes with that scarf. That almost has to be up. I can't be the only one that wants to color coordinate, but maybe, I don't know, maybe.
I think that's a fair request. Our scarf demand typically outweighs our knit hat demand, but we can look to try and be a little matchier than we've been in the past.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, Connor, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I just want to hear from Coach Glazer, favorite restaurant or establishment in this great city of Madison since you've been here. I know you've been working a ton, but
yeah, it's hard for me to say. I've been dragging it's probably a little bit unfair. I've been dragging the staff into the office, from sun up to sundown. So, but what what can I say? It's hard to give a fair assessment so far. I've been to like 3 places. So we did go over to the Vintage one day across the street. I liked it in there. Yesterday we went over to Dark Horse, also known as Art Bar. I'm receiving clarification head nods from the guys here. There's a couple of names for that place, but yeah, went in there for a happy hour yesterday for a little bit, and then obviously out of convenience, LJ's is down out the door. So with the weather and the cold, as I'm adjusting to that, that was been at least the most convenient place so far. So yeah, nothing too cool yet. Hopefully, I'm excited to learn more and as we get going here.
I appreciate you frequenting our neighborhood or our neighbors, Matt. So
fantastic. Looks like we just got a hand from Matt. Matt, I'm going to ask you to unmute right now, and you should be able to ask away.
Hi guys, thanks for doing this. This is kind of for Connor. So I read that the Green Bay team is not playing this year. Is that going to affect us at all? Is it something we should be worried about? Is it like a financial thing? You guys got rid of it for financial reasons. Is it going to hurt us with players on the field? Like if we need extra guys for like the exhibitions, I thought we usually took some guys from the Green Bay, brought them up. Is that going to affect forward Madison?
Yeah, Matt, I think that's a fair question. Year one, we did some of that, but have not been able to do that in the years since. Candidly, we didn't quite leverage that relationship as much as I think we thought we would when we created both clubs. There's not going to be any impact or any change financially to Forward Madison. If anything, it's probably a positive thing. I can tell you the club's never been in a better position. We're looking at this as a 20-year plan, not a 1 or 2 or 3 year plan. And I think earlier on we mentioned that we've increased our player budget 20%, and our overall technical budget is up significantly over what it was in the past. So no, I wouldn't read into any concern with anything related to Forward with our decision in Green Bay.
Thanks for the question, Matt. And we'll move on to Mitchell. Mitchell, you should be unmuted.
All right. So I got to know the truth. Is the real reason why we signed Cesar Murillo because he's been to all 3 USL League One championships and won 2 of them?
It certainly didn't hurt his cause, Mitch. Again, bringing in guys that have had success, bringing in guys that know what it means to win it in our league is important. Cesar, having watched him and spoken to him, he fit us on a number of levels. Number one, when I called him, I thought it was almost like taking a little bit in a good way, taking a sort of a trip into the past. It was yes sir, no sir. We'll see how long that lasts, but I was very impressed with his candor, the way he presented himself, the questions that he asked, his professionalism, and then from a footballing standpoint, we feel like he really fits into what we want to do. He's a center back who can play some different positions. He can step into midfield. He's comfortable in possession. He can break lines on the pass and the dribble. He's a very good soccer player and a cerebral guy. So yeah, I mean, that's certainly part of it, Mitch, but it wasn't the main reason either.
Thanks, Mitchell. Any last questions for tonight's town hall? Speak now or forever hold your peace. And that's not true. We're always open to questions. You can reach out to us on our socials or reach out to us directly via our phone. We're happy to answer them, whether you have them right now with you or have them in the future. Please feel free to reach out to us. But seeing as there's no hands, Connor, do you want to kind of wrap us up with any last minute words?
I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight and your time this evening. Yeah, it's an exciting, we're just 8 days from players reporting. So it's an exciting time. I know they're still on the ground and it's cold temperatures, but it's an exciting time for us. And we're looking forward to hopefully our best season yet at Forward Madison from a fan environment, a fan perspective, and from an on-field result. So we feel very positive right now about the team that Matt Glazer is putting together. And we're excited to host everybody at Breeze on April 9th or potentially sooner with the US Open Cup match.
Fantastic. Thanks, Connor. And thanks, everyone. The recording will be made available early next week for those not able to be in this call. And we hope that you all have a great rest of your night. Thanks again for attending tonight's talk.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.